anyone on right now, so okay. All right, Sequoia, so you said that you can see me, so hopefully you can hear me as well. I don't see you on, but if you can see me and hear me, that is awesome. I'm not sure. I'm sorry. I'm going to be looking over at my phone because my notes are here. So hopefully people get on and are able to Sequoia, you're funny. Okay, great. So I have one person on. So hi. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to take my glasses off because I can never, the glare always gets me crazy. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your patience. I know we were supposed to start at 10:30, and then I had to actually change the time last minute, unfortunately, because I had an emergency call that I had to take. It was, it was very, very important, extremely important. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes we have to, change plans in the midst of situations and in the midst of things that we are going to do or have planned to do. Sometimes it's not always good to do that. But in this case, it was an emergency and I really had no other choice. I thank you for everyone who, I forgot to put the Q&A, so I'm sorry. Okay, yes. So if you have any questions or anything, I can definitely see your questions and you can chat with me in the chat box. So I thank you everyone for your patience. I thank you so much that you stuck with me. I'm so appreciative. So this is the Pursuit of Writing workshop webinar, and I am your lovely host, Takima Howes, also known as Takima H. Writes. And I am a writer, self-published author, and writing and book development coach. So I help and teach people how to share their stories and messages in their own unique voice. And I literally walk them through the writing process. I am I am a very big storyteller. I love telling stories. That is what I love to do. I actually I wrote that somewhere on my landing page, actually. I talked a little bit about how when I was younger, if you grew up in a family, a household, and, your mom always told you, don't say the word lion, that's not for kids and things like that. So that's that's how I grew up. And my mom would say, we had to say either storytelling or telling a fib, so that's what I use. And you know what? It's funny because that really shaped me, because I really am a storyteller. I don't lie all the time. No, but I only, if I'm telling a story, I'm literally telling you my real life story. But if I'm writing something fiction, obviously it it's fabricated, but definitely has a lot of truth to it. So I'll definitely say that. I don't want you guys to sit around and think about I'm lying. But actually, I went to a book talk with Terry McMillan. Oh, someone else joined. Thank you so much and welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I went to a book talk with Terry McMillan, and she said writers are liars, and I was like, what? And she said we tell lies all the time, and people believe us, and they want more and more of the lies. And I was like, wow. And I was like, that is true. Story writers, we are storytellers. I'd rather say storytellers than liars, because we have a knack and a really amazing opportunity to speak to the hearts of people based on what we have seen, experienced, and being able to speak life and truth into other people. That's what I believe. And that's why I'm a writer. I pride myself on, telling stories, sharing stories, and speaking life into people through those stories, and basically helping them go from one place to the next. So I don't know what your story is, or why you want to write, or why you decided that writing is a way for you to I want to know what you feel and what you felt about why writing is the avenue or the vehicle that you want to use to share your story. And hopefully we will get into that pretty soon. So I'm going to grab my notes here. They're in my phone. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Sorry. I'm just looking for my notes here. And then when you're looking for something, and then other stuff come up, and you're like, what is that? And get caught up. I don't know. I may be the only one. I'm gonna put my glasses on so I can read. Hopefully the glare doesn't bother you as much. It literally is driving me insane. So okay. So I really am grateful for you guys. I really am. Like, I want to say thank you again for joining me for the Pursuit of Writing webinar workshop. So who is this webinar for? This webinar is for new, beginning, and aspiring writers who feel like they want to take that journey and take that next step into writing and sharing their story, but have no idea where to start. No idea how to begin their process, no idea of what to say, how to say. I'm here to guide you and to navigate you through this wonderful journey of writing. And let me just also say that writing is not just just you writing with pen and paper, or pencil and paper, or however you do it. Writing is a journey of self-discovery. Writing is therapy. When you feel like you can't say what you want to say, or do what you want to do, writing allows you that freedom to be able to express yourself without judgment, without pretense, without feeling as though you have to be right or wrong. Obviously there are certain rules to writing in terms of grammar. You don't want to write and publish or put something out there that sounds completely crazy, but for the most part you can literally say whatever it is. Ooh, got some stuff falling down over here. It's my mouse. You can pretty much say whatever it is that you want to say and how you want to say it, because it's your voice. So oops, what was that? So yeah, so writing is, to me, writing is freedom. And I was telling someone the other day, writing is like breathing to me. You know, if I'm not writing, if I don't write something at least once a day, I feel stifled, or I feel like something is happening to me, and I have to write, like I have to get it out. So if you are that person and you've ever felt that way, then you are a writer and you definitely have something to say. And there are people who need to hear what you have to say. So I will say that. So that's who this webinar workshop is for. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how to find your writer's voice. And I'm looking over here because I have my notes, and I'm speaking, and I want to be engaging. But I, have to look at my notes to make sure I'm staying on track. The first thing that you want to know, when you want to start, your writing journey, is you want to know, you want to ask yourself a couple of questions. So the first question, who do I speak to, and why? The first question you want to ask is, who do I, why, and how? Those are the three key things you want to know. Okay, so for me, I am a writer, and I speak to people who have experienced traumatic things in their lives that literally have knocked them or rocked them to their core. And those same people I speak to those people in that way, and I speak to them and helping them transition from going through that traumatic experience, teaching them how to come out of that experience, and teaching them how to remain in the positive. So I essentially my audience are people who are in the negative and want to go in the positive and remain in the positive. So that's my audience. So essentially, I speak to people who are like me, people who have been through very, very detrimental things, going into foster care, losing your family, struggling with low self-esteem, being homeless, being promiscuous, being sexually abused, raped, becoming a Christian, and having a child out of wedlock. Like, that's my audience. People who look just like me. Because you know what? Sometimes we feel like we can't say anything to anyone, because it's like, how can I speak to somebody if I'm not completely out of that? Or how can I talk to somebody and I feel like what qualifies me? Like, do I need to get, training and stuff? No, your training was your experience. You know what I mean? Or some people get shut down and say, I don't want to talk about what I've been through. And as hard as it may be, somebody needs to hear what you have to say, because you know what? It will help them. Like, I can remember a time when I was homeless, and I was living with this person, and that was taking advantage of me sexually. And I wish that I had someone say to me, you don't have to go through that, or I've been through that. This is what you can do to get out of that. I wish somebody would have told me a story like that, right? So that's who I speak to. That's who my words are for. My words are for those people. So, okay, so you know who you're speaking to, and you know why you're speaking to them, right? So the next thing is, how do you speak to them? So you have to understand kind of like their language of what they want to hear and how they want to hear it. So if you think about society now, everything is social media. You have Twitter, you have Facebook, you have Instagram, you have Periscope, you have Meerkat, you have a whole host of things, right? Google Hangout, you have all these things, right? So how do you speak to your people? You have to find out where they are. You have to find out who they are and where they are. My audience found in most places. My audience is between the ages of to about 20, some range. So they're mostly on Facebook. A lot of them are on Instagram. So I like to share things on Instagram and Facebook. And now most of them are coming on Periscope. So I, share things on Periscope as well. So I tend to share a lot of my stuff through those mediums so that they can identify with me and identify with my story and say, oh my goodness, that girl or that woman, because I'm fully grown right now, that woman has been through what I'm going through, or that person has been through what I have been through. So I want to hear what they have to say, right? So once they connect with you in that way, now you're building your audience, you're building your people, because and by you building your people, you have the opportunity to speak life into them, right? So your words will be an encouragement for them, and they'll always want to seek you out because they want to hear from you. They want to know that, whatever I'm going through, I know this person went through that, and I want to hear how she did it so I can do it too, right? So you have to find them. I go to church, and I go to a very large church here in New York, in Brooklyn, and a lot of people tell me, you're really encouraging. I really like the fact that you've been through this, and you're so happy, and you're bubbly, you're joyful, whatever. And I'm not afraid to tell people my story. I'm not afraid to say, this is what I've been through. And a lot of times when I talk to people, they say, wow, I was going through that, or oh, I went through that. How did you do that? How did you do this? How did you do that? And that is how I connect with them. And that is how I know that what I have to say and what I will write will speak to them and resonate with them. I'm sorry, my phone is like going off the hook right now. I hope nothing is wrong. Okay. I'm going to drink some water because my mouth is getting dry. So that's the first thing. That was good. Finding your writing voice. Knowing who you speak to and how. So, the other part to knowing how to speak to your people is in your writing is understanding their language. Now, I don't advise talking in text language if your audience is teenagers, because that is a really big issue that we're having right now. A lot of people like to talk in text language, and to me that drives me nuts, mainly because I'm a writer and I'm just like, that is not real English. So I don't advise that. However, if your audience is, say, teenagers, speak their language in the sense that, like, write in a way that they can relate to it. So I would suggest understanding certain jargon or certain slang, not too crazy, but understanding that key phrases that they use, and use it in your writing so that you attract that particular audience, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So for me, my audience is about, they're adolescent, they're a little bit more mature, young adults, things like that. So I say things like, a lot of times, like, I try not to use the word stress, because I don't like to say that I'm stressed a lot. I just have a lot of going on. That's something. Okay, so I have a lot going on all the time. And most people in my age say I have a lot going on. I don't know what it is with that word and that phrase, but it's true. People do have a lot going on. So when you say things like, if you have having a lot going on can really be stressful, or it can really take a lot out of you, but this is how I do it. You know what I mean? So key phrases and knowing what to say and how to say it and to spark people's interest in your writing is something really, really, really important. And that will drive people to what you want to hear. What they want to hear. I took a boot camp class with a woman named Tiffany Montgomery in Azarel. And she talked about, it was about writing a book, how to self-publish your book. And she went over like titles and stuff like that. And she said one of the words that sells really well is the word bitch. So, I was just like, what? But if you Google bitch, like, people like love that word. I don't know why. I hardly use it because I don't think it's necessary. But people tend to want to read something that has to do with that word. So you have to think of things that people want, are talking about. Two, words or key phrases that people use frequently, and 3, what conversations people are having, and that is how you write and you attract the people that need to be in your audience base. So I hope you got that. I hope you're writing your notes, because I said bring your notebook and your pen, because I'm going to be talking, and so the second thing is where and how to share your story. So for me, me being the storyteller that I am, I decided a while back that I wanted to write a blog, because I always had a lot to say, and people were always telling me, oh my gosh, Takima, you always have so much to say. What you have to say is really, really good. You're really encouraging. So I was like, okay, how can I leverage that? But how can I talk about things with people, and they are interested in what I have to say. So I decided to start a blog about, I want to say, about 6 years ago. And I started my blog, and it was a little tricky for me, because I didn't really understand how blogging worked. But then I started to get the hang of it more and more, and I kept it up for a little while, and then I kind of dropped off a little bit, and then I picked it back up, and then I kind of dropped off a little bit again. And then when I wrote my first book, which is called The Pursuit of Self, Discovering Who You Are in the Midst of Chaos. Yes, it's a very shameful plug. Shameless. Sorry, not shameful. Shameless plug. Started writing about book. I picked up my blog again, and became of the things that I want. And how you attract the right people to your blog. One thing I would definitely say is, in your blogs, definitely give people bullets of things that they can take away. Don't, like me, like when I started, don't be like me. I was writing like it was my journal. I mean, it's good, but it's not. You know what I mean? There's a time and a place for that. Like, you can kind of like finagle it in a way where, you kind of start off writing as if you're writing in a journal, but you also want to remember that you're writing and people are going to see this. So you want to also give them value in your blog as well. So you definitely want to be very conscious of what you're saying and how you're saying it. So that is one way you can, start a blog in your writing, and using your writing, starting a blog. And sharing your message. The other way, which is the most popular way, and the way that most people are doing it now, is writing books. And writing a book is, I want to say this I want to be really strategic in how I say this. Writing a book is possible, very possible. It can be easy in the sense that if you are focused enough, you can get it done. Like, you can. Is it challenging? Absolutely. So you have to be up for the challenge. That's what I will say about writing a book. I wrote my book within about, I want to say realistically, about 4 or 5 months. And that's with like inconsistent writing. You know what I mean? Like, I would write some, and then I would stop, and then I would be doing other stuff, and then I would come back to it. And, so that's why it took me the amount of time. But I know that if I would have been focused and just strategic, I would have wrote my book flat, probably in like a month, 2 months tops. So you have to just be really, really strategic. But a book is a great way to get your message out there, because you're able to break up, the points of your message, what you want to say, how you want to say it. And for me, writing a book is a way for you to really express who you are as an individual. I'm very creative. I'm an extremely creative person. So my book is a compilation of short stories, poetry, and journal entries, and life lessons. So there's 4 different elements involved in there, and it all ties together. So you have to really go into That's funny. That's the next point. So I'm gonna go right into the next point. So you have to know who you are as an individual. You have to know who you are as an individual when you're writing. You know, like I said, I'm very creative. So I allowed that creativity to come forth in my writing and in me writing my book. You know, I wasn't, you know, focused on it has to be chapters and it has to be this and it has to be that. I said, how would I, like, if I were me, what kind of book would I want to read? And what kind of book will make the most impact? People like to hear realness and they like stories. I mean, I was just told this by I had an amazing session with a woman named Shalina Diva. You can find her on Facebook. And she rocked my socks, like, really. I know that sounds kind of weird, but she really did. And one of the things she told me is that people want to hear from your heart to speak to their heart, and people love that. And when you're genuine, people will gravitate to you. When you are for real, people hear you and listen to you and want to hear what you have to say. And also, people are nosy, so they want to hear all the nitty-gritty juicy stuff that you don't really want to tell nobody. But when you put it in your writing, when you write it in that book, people are glued. And they're like, oh, she did that, oh, she did this, oh, don't play with it. Don't play with it. People want to know. So be open and be yourself. If you're a person that definitely just, you know, you have a vivid imagination and you want to share your story as a fiction book or something like that, you could totally do that. You could totally do that, because your people will gravitate to that. And you can still be truthful in your fiction, because it's just, fiction is basically just you sharing your story, but using different scenarios of how to tell that story, and that makes you creative within itself. So definitely, you know who you are and let that come forth in your writing. Let that come forth in your writing. And you know what? I'll save that for later. So the fourth thing is let's see. Oh, before you write, some of you may not agree with this, but I guarantee you will thank me for this. You must write an outline. It doesn't even have to be grand or, you know, huge or whatever like that. I like detailed outlines because it really helps me focus and zone in on whatever I'm writing. But an outline is essential for writing. It is essential. I know sometimes you could probably go off the top of your head, especially when you're a free writer like me. I'm definitely a free writer. But when I'm writing a book or a blog, I outline. I have to, because when you write, a lot of times you will go off on tangents. You will, you know, start on one thing, and if you're like me, I sometimes like, what the heck? Why am I writing this again? Like, what is going on? So an outline is essential. Essential. Write that down. An outline is essential. Okay? Essential. I actually created a writing outline guide for writers who don't know how to start an outline or who don't know how to write an outline. You can definitely I can give that to you as a thank you for joining my webinar, if you're interested, because you need it. I'm telling you, you need an outline. So definitely use an outline. And an outline, it's not and some people probably think of it as tedious and mundane, but I'm telling you, an outline will help you gather your thoughts. It'll help you stay on track of what it is that you want to write. And if you're writing a book, and if you're writing a lengthy book, or if you're not even if you're writing a lengthy book, but if you're writing a book that's, you know, of like really have a lot of substance in it, you want to write an outline, because you want to make sure you hit all the key points in each chapter, and in each and within the chapter, the content. You want it to be clear, concise, so that when the reader reads it, they get it, they understand it, they can engage it, they can connect to it, and it's like boom, you know. to an outline, do not start writing without an outline. If you're writing a blog or if you're writing a book, an outline is essential. Even if you want to do articles or copywriting for people, I would also suggest doing like a quick outline, like like bullets, if anything, but you want to have something to go with, because I'm telling you, you will be rambling like crazy, and then it'll take you even longer, and it'll get you frustrated, and then you'll feel like you have writer's block, and there's no such thing as writer's block. Writer's block is a myth, in case you didn't know. Okay, so the last thing is oh, I already talked about that. Your personality coming through. So it is 11:49. I'm trying to stay on time because this was only 45 minutes. So I want to offer you a couple of things. Don't you like offers? Oh my goodness. So as a thank you for coming to my webinar, I want to definitely gift you with the Write outline. That's WRITE outline that I created to help people to stay on target and task when they're writing their books or blogs or whatever it is that you're writing, that will help you to stay on target and stay on task in your writing. So I want to send that to you. So if you could put your email address in the chat box, that would be awesome sauce. Also, I just launched, like, brand spanking new. I just launched my first coaching program for writers and storytellers. Isn't that awesome? And I would love an opportunity to talk to you and see if you want to take that journey with me. It is a 6-week coaching boot camp with me, where I will teach you how to write your book and share your story authentically. We will go through every phase of the writing process, going from the who you are as a writer, the premise of your story, why you want to share your story, going through the writing process, dealing with the emotions of the writing process, and actually putting something together so that you can give it to your audience. So if you want to know a little bit more, if you want to know much more about that, definitely let me know, and we can see. Yes, I do. I got your email. I will be contacting you too. So if you are interested, you can email me at Takima H. Wright. That's TAKIMAHWRITES at The Pursuit of Self Book, one word, The Pursuit of Self Book, one word.com. And I will set up a time to talk to you about how you can start your writing journey. So I just want to thank you so much for joining my webinar. I had a good time. I hope you had a good time, because I had a good time. And again, I just want to thank you so much for your patience. Whew. It's been crazy morning, but you know what? God is good all the time, right? So I want you, if you're not following me already, follow me on Takima H. Wright on Facebook, Takima H. Wright on Instagram, and Takima H. Wright on Periscope. I love Periscope. Periscope is like my favorite place in the whole world. So yeah. So thank you so much for joining me. And always remember, be you, stay true, and pursue. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.